All right, my friends, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about BitsBox Level 2. So in BitsBox Level 2, last level we talked about just coordinates, really. Coordinates and size. This time, we talked a little bit about size, I guess. This time we are going to be focused on variables, and we'll talk about what a variable is, move, how to move an object. Again, that's really has a lot to do with those coordinates that we talked about already. How to rotate an object, and how to size an object. Objectives. Understand what a variable is and how it can be used in BitsBox or Java coding. Be able to code projects that use move, rotate, and size. A variable. A variable is like a container to keep track of a label, score, lives, things like that. When you're playing video games, that's a variable. Anytime you're keeping score or watching for lives. What is inside the container is called a value. So I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Most apps keep track of pieces of information that change and update as you use the app. For example, a simple game can keep track of your score and the number of lives you have left as you play. Apps utilize the computer's memory to do this, and learning how to use that memory when programming is a really powerful skill. The most common way to leverage a computer's memory is by creating a variable. Now, a variable is just a container for storing a value, and once created, the variable is stored in the computer's memory, and it can be used and updated repeatedly throughout your program. As an example, let's use variables to keep track of the score and the number of lives remaining in a hypothetical game. Creating the variable is really easy. You use the word var followed by a label that you want to give the variable. You can choose any label you want, but it helps to choose a word that describes the variable that you want to store. So let's label our first variable score to keep track of the score. And then we can create a second variable to keep track of lives. Remember these labels. You'll need them later in order to use the variables. We can assign a value to the variable.
All right, so I'm going to go back one slide. I don't know why it's went forward for me. Boop. Back to the variables. Again, present. All right. So we know that a variable keeps track of something for us. It's the way of telling the computer, hey, remember this for me. And then you just have to remember the variable that you created. So this code in this box creates a variable called speed, and it assigns it a value of 2000. So anytime you type the word speed, it's going to automatically give you a speed of 2000. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. So again, speed equals 2000, robot stamp, there's the robot move, right, 100, and then see right there, that speed, that's the use of the variable. So again, you can see that they're using that variable, and it's basically it's a shortcut to type speed equals 2000, because typing speed equals 2000 every time you need something to be that speed can be a little monotonous. So having a shortcut, it's almost like a shortcut for in words for them. All right, so using a variable in BitsBox. If the goal is to move, rotate, or resize a stamp, you will need to assign a variable when you create it. Robot equals stamp robot. So this will place a robot on the screen as well as assign it a variable. So not only does it create you a stamp, but it also creates a variable. Move. The move command is more specific on an object on the screen or in a specific direction by the specified distance. So again, you can tell it exactly where to go and exactly how fast. So this code moves the robot to coordinates 500, 700, and gives it a speed of 3000 milliseconds. So again, it's going to move that robot, and it's going to use 3000 milliseconds, which is 3 seconds. Then we're going to give it this one, because it doesn't specify the speed, so it's move the robot up 450 pixels, it's going to do it instantly. The code for the robot move right by 400 pixels over 8.5 seconds, so 8,500 milliseconds. Okay. Rotate. The rotate command will rotate a specific object on the screen. So again, you have to specify what you're going to be moving, or rotating, I should say. This code rotates the robot 90 degrees instantly. Robot.rotate 90. As long as you're putting in positive numbers, it's going to be rotating clockwise or in the right or left direction. So the robot moves left by 180 degrees instantly. So again, because they specified left, it will move left 180 degrees. But if you do not put it and you just put a positive number, it will always rotate clockwise. Rotate and time. The rotate command will rotate a specific object on the screen. You must indicate the direction of rotation, then time in milliseconds. 1 second equals 1,000 milliseconds. 4 is 4,000 milliseconds. 20 is 20,000 milliseconds. So again, each one of these is a second, and then you have to multiply it by 1,000. So again, 4 times 1,000 would be 4,000 seconds. Size. The size command changes everything of objects on the screen. Remember, everything is done in pixels size. This code resizes the robot to be 100 pixels wide instantly. Robot.size 100. So again, it's going to do it instantly. If you want to grow or shrink it at a specific pace, you can put in time. So again, it's going to be size, then time. This code resizes the robot to be 100 pixels wide over 2.3 seconds, so 2,300 milliseconds. Robot size 100, and then it tells you the time is the second one. And that is it.
Size. The size command changes the size of objects on...
That's not what I wanted. I wanted to stop my screencastify. Wrong extension.